Let's see what is a static keyword. The definition is it is used to create the class level members. Okay, it can be field, it can be method that belong to the class itself rather than any individual object. We are having the class and we are creating the objects, the instances, right? But the static keyword, it can be either field, it can be either method, thus belong to the class level, okay, not to the object, correct? So what if we use static? Memory for the static members is allocated only once. This is important point. When the class is loaded, memory allocated only once. If you see in the last example, we are creating two objects of the person, right? Here we are creating two objects of the person, right? So it will create the memory for this name and the address again and again when we are creating the new object, means new memory for the new object, right? But with the static, memory is allocated only once when the class is loaded. Okay, so all instances of the class share same static member. This is also important. We don't need an object to access static member. We can simply use class name dot member. Great. So these are the important points about static. Check this example. Now we are having the class counter. First we are having the static variable, static int static count, right? So we know static count is static. This is static. We declared this as static. The second variable is non-static count. Okay, this is 0, this is also 0, right? We are having one method, that is increment. Okay, in the main function, what we are doing, we are creating first object, that is c1, right? New counter, then c2, new counter, created two objects, then we called c1 dot increment. What is in increment? Static count plus plus. So static count will be 1 now, right? And non-static count also plus plus, that is 1, correct? In the next part, what we are doing, we are calling this increment with the second object, that is c2, right? Now here comes the logic of static and non-static. What is the point? What is the use cases? All instance of the class share the same static member, right? So what that mean? All members, that means they both will share the same variable, that is static count. So this is 1 and this c1, so now it will increment from 1, it will be 2. It will not initialize the second sc, right? It will use the same, this one, and the value was 1. Now with the non-static, it will create the new memory and value will be 1. Understood the point now? Done. So these are the points. What is static? Belong to the same class, not the instance, shared among all the objects, can be accessed using class name dot member name. We will see this example in the further code. What is non-static? Belong to the object, that is this one, right? This one, this belongs to the object. Each object get its own copy, as we have seen here. So these are the points. Okay, now when to use static? When we are having some shared value that is fixed, right? Let's say we are having count, this is shared for all the objects, so we will be using at static some values that are fixed. Let's say pi, the value is 3.14 something, right? Max value, we are initialize some max value. It will be same for all the objects. So in these cases, we will be making them static. Great. These are the differences we have seen above. Now There are some types of the static variable, static method, static block, static class. What is static variable? We have seen this above. This is the static variable, right? Static count is the static variable. What is static method? Belong to the class, can be called without object. This is important. Let's see the example. This is the static method. Can be called without creating an object. Can only access static data directly. Correct. Cannot use this keyword. Okay. Let's see the code. In the main function, what we are, let's see the class first. We are having this class math util. We are having one function that is static, right? That is static. What it's doing? It's calculating the square, right? So we need not to create the object of this math util. As we are having this method static, we can simply call it. That is how class name dot the method name, that is square, static method, and this is how we will get the value. No need to create object. Okay, this is the benefit of what? Static keyword, right? And when to use? When we are having some utility methods, let's say helper methods, math.max, math.sort, right? So in that case we will be using these static methods. Like here we are calculating the squares. It's easy, right? And the third one is static block. What is the static block? A block that is executed once when the class is loaded, right? So we will be having one static block like this. Okay, we will be having some functionality and this, right? Let's see the example. And it is useful to initialize static variable. Okay, we are having this class name is config. We are having one variable that is static, okay, app name, and we are having a static block, and that we are initializing the value of this app name, right? That is oop bootcamp. Then what we are doing? We are printing the value static block executed. Now when we will let's say access this app.name, this variable, right? Then it will automatically call this, right? So basically what is happening? Config dot app name, right? Our class is loaded, right? This is our class. We are trying to access this app name, so our class is loaded here, we can say, correct? So at that point it will execute this static. Okay, it will call this static and we will get the value oop bootcamp and this value as printed, correct? In the output you can see static block executed, that is this one. After that this app bootcamp, right? So whenever the class is accessed either by object or by some variables like this, then this static block will be executed. Okay, so the last one is static class, that is nested static class. A static nested class is a class defined inside another class. Okay, class within a class, does not require an object of the outer class to be created. This is also important point. Okay, let's see the example. We are having this class outer, inside that we are having one static class, static class what? Inner, right? Within that we are having this method show, void show, and we are printing something, correct? Now how can we access this static class? the nested class. See, we are having the main function. We will use this syntax, that is outer as the outer class. We will write it outer. This class is a part of this, right? So we can call this inner dot inner, right? Object equal to new outer dot inner. So we created the object of inner static class. Okay, no outer object needed. So this is the benefit of static nested class, and we can simply call the show method, this one. This is the summary table of the static variable, static method, static block, static nested class, and these are some keynotes. Okay,